Let's go. GreelTime podcast. Mr. Grevis, SBX. How are you, my friend?
Good, my brother. Good to see you.
It is very good to see you, man. It's been a while. When's the last time we caught up?
I think Darwin.
It was definitely Darwin, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And yeah, you did a whole set, and I did a battle.
Yeah, you battled Chaotic.
Yep, that was it.
And Reason did a set as well.
That's right. Good old Reason. Have you run into him at all?
No, I still speak to him every now and then. I was actually going to hit him up because I'm Melbourne show tomorrow, so go catch up with him, have a feed, hopefully, if he's not too busy doing the family thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Reason, absolute legend, eh?
He's a good dude, man.
When did you first meet Reason?
I met Reason in 2000. I don't know if it was late 2011 or early 2012.
Yeah.
He did a song called The Youth as well, and then I did that song The Youth. He came over and played a show at the Rosemount, and I actually jumped on and did the support for it. Think it was like one of my first shows ever, but yeah, jumped on, did the support for it, and he's just a really respectful guy, and like, you know, he's nice to me. So anyone that gives me the time of day, I give them the time of day, you know. And he's just a G, like, and old school, obviously, like Obese 001. He's the very first record ever for Obese, and yeah, we just got along really well. And then what's it called? I tweeted I was about to sign a distribution deal with this label, and I tweeted about it. You know, obviously happy times. And then Ree hit me up and he's like, "Don't do it." I showed Pegs your stuff, and he wants to put your record out, distro your record for you. And I was like, "Hell yeah, I'll be a part of that."
Sweet.
So yeah,
I remember that. I remember you kind of I mean, you'd obviously been around the scene for a fair while before you decided to really make your debut as Mr. Grevis. I mean, when I first met you, you were just, kind of blowing up, and you'd come out with their album. I'm not sure if I met you before that album.
I reckon it was before, for sure.
Just before?
Yeah.
Yeah. We were hanging around Matty Axis's place and doing heaps of tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times, man. That house was golden, eh?
Yeah, was. Lots of after parties were had there for sure.
Yeah. I remember the first time I met Reason, I supported him when I was 17 at the Brisbane Hotel where your performance tonight. And Reason and Checkmate came down, and they did a gig. And I supported them with Pissed Apostles, which was like a crew I was in when I was like 17. And it was myself, Rich O'Day, and Stick Up. And there was freestyle battles that night, and Reason and Checkers hosted the battles and judged it. And Dundee battled vocal in it, and in one of his lines, he fucked up, and he kind of fucked up his line, and he accidentally said "fuck hospice," in this like accidental kind of like filler flip. You know what I mean? He was just kind of meant to say like, fuck, shout outs to fucking Reason, fucking hospice, but he kind of just said "fuck the hospice" or something like that. And Checkers was just sitting by the bar like, what? Dundee lost that battle.
Classic.
Vocal ended up winning. But I remember from that point on, like, Reason was very friendly, and he was like, you know, very humble, and he gave me advice from that point. I supported him a few years later, and then I remember when you did your album launch in Melbourne, I was hanging out with you, ISB.
Yeah,
we're just getting some burgers up in.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was a good time, man.
Yeah, he's a G. Like, that's sort of like, you know, how I hope to be remembered in that same sort of thing. You know, because he nurtures all the young up and comers, and
100%.
Yeah, that's like, you know, he hasn't become one of those rappers that is sort of, you know, because his career is obviously not prominent like it was, you know, years and years ago. And sometimes dudes become old and jaded, you know, and I fucking hate that. Like, and he hasn't become that guy, man. He's like just nurtures everyone and does the right thing and mentors people. That's what people should do. The elders for the scene, 100%. You know.
Did you know how Briggs got his first gig in Melbourne?
Probably through Ree as well, because I know they've been friends a long time.
Well, I'm pretty sure the story goes Reason was doing a gig at the SB. I didn't think they had any supports booked in, but Briggs just called up the SB and went, "Oh, Reason's playing. I want to play. Me and my boys want to come and play, you know, all the way from Shep." And they asked Reason, and Reason was like, "Yeah, go for it." Briggs and all his mates came in, and they did a set at the SB. And yeah, then they were friends from there on. And, you know, you look at everyone that he's kind of like had a part with. I'm pretty sure he was the guy that told Richard Kingsmill to check out Hilltop Hoods in the early days as well. Like,
oh, wow.
I think because, you know, he has, you know, Reason's been around for so long that a lot of people in the industry recognised him as an OG, you know.
Yeah.
And I think they asked him also, you know, finally they were giving in to the Aussie hip hop wave because they'd heard so much about it and it was yet to be on Triple. And Reason went, oh, you should check out these young fellas from Adelaide.
It would have been 2005, The Calling, probably, eh?
Yeah,
or before,
maybe
left foot, right foot.
Then. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a
2005, The Calling, they really blew up then. That was when it all sort of really kicked off for Australian hip hop, really, wasn't it?
Did,
well, like
it?
on a mainstream level, on big numbers level. Yeah.
I saw a video the other day and it was like the Culture of Kings launched 2002 in Adelaide. It was like a footage of the whole gig and Hunter and Mortar did a set. And Hilltop Woods headlined it at the end. And even then, and that's still like the early days, you know, like there was
15 years ago, a long time ago.
15 years ago, and like Ken Oath was there, and who else was? There was like Hans was doing this track, and Trials was backing him up, and Trials was looking like, but
chubby Trials, eh? Like.
Yeah. This is even before like staunch chubby Trials. I remember
with the shaved head.
No, he had kind of like he didn't have a shaved head and didn't have the goatee. Remember in Battle for Supremacy, he was like scary big Trials, you know what I mean? I remember first saying that, and he was like, I'll snap you back over the fucking fall back. Like, you know, stomping across the stage when he battled like Anecdote and guys like that. But,
he's the Banana Boat dude, wasn't he? Who did the Banana Boat ad in the end?
Anecdote.
Yeah, it was him.
The Sunscreen.
Yeah, the Sunscreen ad, yeah.
that was him.
Yeah.
That was him.
I thought that name wrong.
It was a shame. He was really dope, man. He did an album. I remember it was called like The Bachelor or something.
Once you do something like that, but there's no coming back. Like you know, he probably just saw the immediate dollar signs, but you know, no, you can't return.
You got paid like what, 30 grand for that or something.
That's all right.
Yeah, he did it.
I don't know if I'd do it and walk away for 30, but
yeah, no, me either. It's not my type of thing. But I know you went to Canada with Manners and battled over there the same time Manners battled Sharon. I can't remember who maybe it was Sketch Menace, but yeah, he did well over there. And he's always held it down. Like he was in the World Rap Championships, he won like most valuable rapper of the world for like of it.
Yeah, well.
So it was pretty good. But it's a shame that he just So how's your album been going, man? Tell me about your Perth launch.
Perth launch was good. Not obviously taking 4 years off. Kind of hurts your brand a little bit. So it wasn't like my 2013 launch was crazy massive, but the energy was crazy. Like it was a really good show.
I saw a little bit of footage and it looks pumping.
Yeah, it was a busy night, packed room, and heaps of energy from the crowd. So that's all I could ask for. And I honestly had a really good time. So that's the main thing, man.
That's what really counts. So there's nothing worse than like spending a month working up to a gig to then be fucked around by somebody.
Yeah.
As long as you have a good night.
That's it. And everyone else does too, you know?
Yeah, massively. And which venue was that at?
It was at Amplifier Bar.
Yep.
At the back of Capital. Yeah, good spot. Massive beer garden. And the stage area is sort of not huge, but like a pretty good room. But yeah, fills up and looks really good.
Great, man. And then you went down to Bunbury afterwards?
Went down to Bunbury last Friday night.
Yeah.
And yeah, they got issues down there. It's mental. I love playing down there, man.
You just get loose, eh?
Yeah. It was only like, I think, 160 people or something like that. But, I mean, I was still pretty happy with that away from home. But, yeah, they were just rowdy as fuck, man. Like, people on shoulders and all sorts of nonsense going on. People just, like, openly smoking dope in front of bouncers and shit as well. I was like, good kids.
Yeah.
It was good. No, I liked it. It was good time.
How many people do you reckon came?
That one, about 160 for that one, yeah.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I never got a chance to go down that way when I was over in Perth.
It's sick, man. It's honestly like Bunbury's energy is like up there with the best in Australia. Like they go mental, especially when I play Monster for some reason down there. They love Monster. So.
Monster is a banging track. There's something about that beat.
Daz murked that beat, man.
I remember when you dropped it. It was you were very lucky to get a lot of Daz bangers.
I was, man. So the So High beat and that beat, like, and the Monster beat.
So High too.
I think you could have just wrote. I could have, obviously almost wrote anything, and it still would have had people just.
Oh mate, they're brilliant tracks. But yeah, Daz's uses. Yeah, I'm just out of that.
Yeah, I heard that synthy bit, and I was like, I was like, we need to do some like, because we were going to do a clip, but I just never got around to it. And we're going to do like with that bit, we're going to do like a hypnotizing, you know, like a coin on a chain style shit, and like every day you must get stoned, like waving it back and forth in front of him, sort of thing. You know,
would have been the ticket. Do you reckon you ever get a clip out to it?
I don't know. I wanted to, because to do a sequel for the video, like for the storyline of it.
Yeah.
Like, I think like that's maybe a part of the reason that video did so well on YouTube, and that was because of the storyline's pretty funny in it as well. You know, people enjoyed it. You know, and they're probably watching it when they're stoned, makes it even funnier, I guess. But
yeah. Oh, I still watch So High all the time.
It's good to have a roll of fatty too, for sure.
Yeah, and the start of the clip with the ringtone always catches you. You know, you'll just be the ringtone gets your attention because you're like, "Oh, is that a phone? Oh no, So High's on again." How many views is that track up to?
I don't know. I think 800,000 or something like that.
Oh, man, it's a certified banger.
Yeah, it's going to get 1 million. I want 1 million.
I must say, bro, on your new album cover, I can't stop having a giggle every time I see the tongue.
Well, it's funny you bring the So High video actually ties in where the beef come from too.
Yeah, well, I remember I remember around the time he was having a few stabs at a lot of people around then, but he was calling out 360 for a battle, and then I called him out for a battle
and said, "Oh, I wouldn't." What was his excuse? I wouldn't be worth my exposure or something like that.
Yeah.
And flip the tables now, like it wouldn't be worth your time to battle him, you know?
He's not really, I don't know, he doesn't do much these days.
I don't even think then, to be perfectly honest. I'm not trying to have a shot at the guy. And anyone listening as well, if you do enjoy his music, continue to support it. I'm not that sort of bloke that'll tell you not to, you know, because it's my personal issue with him. But anyways, even then at the time, your careers were probably on par at the time. Like I felt like he didn't... you know, maybe he'd played festivals and things like that, but you had a different style of music, different following, like
and different generations. You know, like I remember I've met him at shows when I was like 18, and Elephant Tracks were coming down and doing big shows, and I got up and I remember being in a cypher with like Thundamentals, The Tongue, Aussie Battler, and Medusa, and there was a bass player on stage, and I was beatboxing. Good times, you know what I mean? But yeah, the generation that we're performing to, especially with the younger guys coming through that are 18 now, they were 8 back then, and it was a very pre-internet phase, you know what I mean? Yeah. Nobody had social media, or if they did, they weren't really, on it every day like they are now. I mean, I find that it seems that that's your direct audience is going straight from what you're doing to social media before you hit. Where that era was still everyone was just going out to the gigs, and you knew when the gigs were, even though you didn't have to go to a Facebook event and accept, invite or anything like that. But
there's the poster runs and the express mags and all that sort of jazz.
Yeah, but has he said anything since the album cover came out?
Oh yeah, he has actually. Yeah, since the album cover came out, just a few things. Like even like he commented on one of Bitter's statuses. He had like a positive status and about positivity, and then he was just saying like, oh, you should tell your mate to have the same sort of mind state or something about me, you know.
Yeah.
What he needs to remember is like he started that, you know what I mean? It's not like, and you know what I'm like I don't go out of my way to ever beef with anybody, you know what I mean? But if someone's disrespectful to me, of course I'm gonna take offense to it, you know. Like
100%. You're from my experience with you're a very respectful person. Like you came up to me at a gig when I was fresh on the West Coast, and you just said, "Hey, bro, welcome."
We've always been G's to each other, man. Like if the love's reciprocated and you're a good dude, and I can tell you are, then there's going to be friendship there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
But his shit, like the whole beef, like it was like I even on my phone now still, like I had 2 Tongue records on there. Like I didn't mind his music and all that stuff, and I was touring with Hilly, and Hilly posted the So High video, and it had 118,000 views at the time, and he's like, yeah, 118,000 views, I don't think so. And I was like, I didn't even understand at the time because I didn't even know fake views were a thing, and I'm not the sort of egotistical guy that would ever spend money on shit like that. I couldn't really care too much, you know. It's cool that it's got another 650,000 views or whatever since he said it.
If you thought you were paying for views then, it's like...
Well, that's the thing he's got to realise as well is like he might, because he was comparing. He goes, I'm a Triple J backed artists. I've done 3 national tours, blah, blah, blah. I can't see how you can get those sort of views and I can't. But the thing you need to realise is like a bunch of dudes are listening to that shit, smoking weed in their bong sheds or in their high school bushes or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Heaps.
Yeah,
They're doing it. Like,
it's consistently got like around 300 views a day. And my understanding of fake views, it'd be like lump sum style shit, wouldn't it? Like bang, bang,
like 10,000.
Yeah.
And if you checked out origin of views, it'd be like they came from Thailand.
Yeah. So mine are all Australian views, and it like consistently gets like 300-400 views a day still. We'll have a look at the analytics after we get off this. And
we'll suss it out.
But yeah, so he's gone out of his way, like, and to be honest with you, I did accept his apology, man. I was working up north, a really good paying job, and I was fucking furious, man, for like 2-3 days, just inboxing him shit. Like, I was ready to quit my job and fuck off and go find him, sort of thing. So then when he like did apologise, I sort of like was like, oh fuck, thank God for that, you know. But like, fuck me, I hold a grudge. Like he's calling me a fraud and a fake, and in my eyes, like you might as well have called me a dog, bro. Like that's how I.
Especially when you put your life into this shit. And like I know yourself, you worked hard to put a lot of money into your work and give back to the scene. Like, you know, what you did for Cogs with his album and that competition. And look at Cogs now. He's one of the he's
killing it. If you haven't got his new record, 2 people out there, grab it. That's sitting at number 6 on the overalls at the moment. On the overalls, bro.
He deserves it so much.
Yeah.
Like how is it that he's I was saying to him the other day, I was like, his style has become a solid pillar in the style of Australian hip hop, especially for the new generation. For a guy, he's just got the perfect mix of that, the rawness. You know what I mean? That is Aussie rawness. Like he just does it. You know, he's perfect at it. Like he really nails it, and he deserves everything he gets, man. He puts a lot of work into his shit. But yeah, as I was saying, yourself, like, you know, you worked hard. You made sure that you've got a good product. You always giving back to your fans, and like made sure that you're on the ball, and that takes a lot of dedication. And if someone even questions that, especially when they're in similar circles around us, it's just... He's
meant to be like a respected Elephant Tracks artist, man, at the time, not anymore.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? So like that's like someone like almost like like maybe not as that, but just going like, oh, I think you got fake views, like
well, especially not hitting you up to ask you
about it first, yeah,
and just make a public sort of call.
It was whack, man, no, for sure. But it is what it is, man.
That's an interesting one. How's the Perth scene been lately? Like, I haven't been over there much. I know I can see everything that's dropping. I see Complete. Cogs, you know, yourself.
It's active as fuck, like really, really busy. There are lots of new dudes that I hadn't even heard of, and then I start like fucking just bored surfing the net and listening to shit, and I'm like, fuck, man, this cunt's... What did I say, cunt? Whoops. I was like, this fucker's dope, you know? And I was like, how have I heard of some of these dudes? But it's going really well. Like, Bitter and Shaker's album was fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
Complete's album is going to be next level.
It was the Posse track.
Oh, so good.
It was so good.
Yeah.
That was the first time we're officially on a track together as well, eh?
I think so. We need to do something about that, actually.
We will.
I've
got some beats. Da Vinci I've got plenty of Da Vinci beats, so we'll suss some of them out afterwards.
100%, bro. I'm doing nothing but collabs for the next year anyway. Like just because I've promised so many people ones, but I never promised you one, and we've just always wanted to work with each other, and we need to get that done. But
we're always at opposite ends of the country.
Yeah.
I mean, you were in Perth, I was in Melbourne, and you were in Darwin, I was in Tassie.
That's it. But what's me call it? Yeah, so Complete's album, Cogs' album. Pretty sure Sever's even got one coming as well. Like just everyone's doing stuff, but the scene's a little bit different to what it was when you were like, well, you've come back a few times, but when you were there for a long period of time. When was that? Around 2013? 14.
It all blurs, but like, because I've kind of just dipped in for months here and there. I was there a year ago. I haven't been back over for a year.
Yeah,
and maybe a year and a half now. But when I was kind of mostly there. I'll say it was only 2 years ago, 2015. I kind of went over there for a big stint. We didn't get to catch up much, I think.
I was working. I was in Darwin.
I once ended up partying at your house with Dave and everyone.
I was like 4,000 k's away in Darwin. Classic Hanson, man. What's Michael? Yeah, it sort of seems like it's branched off into a few groups.
Yeah,
but some of the good shows, like I went to Marksman's gig the other day, and like,
how was that?
Man, it was really good. Me and Drafty and Bits went, and then Complete went. Like, And then there was like Big Ray from the community that does that beat down stuff and that.
Yeah,
He's a G as well, and Cortex. So it had like sort of like the heads of state from each crew there, and it was really good. And same deal for my launch. I hit them all up and said, "Come, put yous on the door." I just wanted that you know, that 2013 vibe again of just all the different crews there, and that's what happened in the end. And like, I had a sick night at Marksman's one, and I was like, I want this atmosphere at my one, so I hit all those boys up. It was like roll through, you know.
That's cool.
Have a good night. No, it was good, but yeah, I reckon it's still going really well, but I'd like to I'd like to see a bit more unity, yeah. But like, I was actually talking to Sean and Complete about that the other day, to Cortex and Complete, and we're talking about we all got to get out and get behind each other's shows, like not just attend, but you know, put some social media love into it as well, and show everybody that you know, like, just because everyone does different styles, we don't have to not go. And I love going to gigs anyway, and just like catching up with crew, you know.
That's the best thing about the Perth scene, you know. I just picture being at the Rosemount and looking around and seeing 100 different people
that you know, it's sick.
And there's so many crews, you know. It tripped me out a few times because I really like, I guess I reached out so much and I was happy to just go lurk and chill with people. But certain guys hadn't. When I first went over there 5 years ago, crews that they didn't hang out with each other if they were from Fremantle. They didn't hang out with the guys from north side of Perth, and there were those barriers there. And it seems that artistically, a lot of guys have, you know, linked up since. Like Asthmatic has, you know, reached out and done heaps of shit, and Cortex,
heaps of boys,
OMAC as well, and you know, even going down to Mandurah and stuff like that, and linking up with that scene down there. So it's such an interesting place because it's so small, but it's huge to me because I'm still from Hobart.
Just really spread out, like the actual distance, you know, like from Mandurah to Clarkson's like an hour and 45-minute drive, and it's all considered Perth kind of thing, you know, from one end to the other.
100%. But I'm keen to go back over there, man.
Well, I've already told you got a room when you come, man. So
thank you, bro.
More than welcome, brother. I said the same thing to Brendo too. If you and the THC boys come over, I've got like 3 beds and a humongously huge couch that could sleep 2 easy without touching feet. Like that's big fat motherfucker. I sleep on it all the time.
I definitely need to set up a THC show. I was talking to Dope Pope about doing it a little while ago, but I was looking at 700 return a person. Oh,
it's ridiculous, bro. That's what people don't understand. Like, you know, it's bad for you guys as well down here in Hobart, but in Perth, it's ridiculous. Like, that's why I've had to line all these shows up in a row. And sorry for anyone who's got to work the public holiday tomorrow, but I just got to go show, and then because it's too expensive to fly back and forth.
100%.
Perth to Melbourne and back, you're looking at $500-600 minimum every time, you know.
Yeah.
But so for you guys to get like 4 of yous over there is going to cost you $3,000, you know. Exactly. So you got to be pulling like a 200+ crowd to just break even kind of thing, you know.
100%. And I mean, we ended up taking about 16 Aussie MCs over to Melbourne. Like, we did a big kind of Wu-Tang style set at the
I saw the video footage. It looked mint, man. Was that a Grumpy's?
It was a Grumpy's.
Yeah, sick.
You're playing at Grumpy's
tomorrow?
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
It's a great venue. Have you been there before?
Nah, but Bitter was telling me it was sick.
The owners are great. They're like hip hop heads, and they're down with the culture. And
is that Ben guy? Hey, he does
Ben,
a lot of it. Yeah,
he's an absolute legend.
Yeah, he's been super helpful.
Yeah, even because it was such a big night when we did the Melbourne show. I was running behind, and I was on stage, and we still had like 3 songs to go. And Maggot came up to the front of the stage, and he's like, "Man, don't disrespect Ben. Don't go over the time limit." And I was like, "Oh fuck!" So we smashed out the last 3 songs. I went up to Ben. I'm like, "Sorry, mate." He's like, "Mate, that was fucking awesome." And you know that he was stoked on it. And
it looked like a sick energy that night.
It was a good night, man. Like, just to get one of the, you know, for me, in my like in hindsight, to put on the show, you know, legends like Checkmate came down to check it, and check it. But yeah, like all sorts of, you know, people that I've respected for like a decade came through to see the showcase that, you know, we had provided and put on and all come over for. Yeah. And considering 10 years ago, Tassie was really just not on the map compared to the rest of the country.
You've done fucking great down here, dude. You should be super proud of yourself, man. Like, when it comes to hip-hop history in Hobart, you're definitely going to go down as a pioneer for that shit for sure, bro.
Well,
like,
it's you guys that inspired me, you know, SBX especially, like, I lived in Brisbane for a while. You know, like I knew High Five from when I was a teenager, Dion, and he put me on to Done Deal before it came out. Like you can find old Done Deal tracks that weren't fully mixed properly on like mp3.com. And I was listening to that before that even dropped. And so you know, I'd follow SBX as a crew for a long time. But then when I got over to Perth and really stayed over there, and I saw, you know, all the good shit that SBX had put back into the scene, that, you know, that was the reason guys like Complete and Cortex and everyone like that was so on top of their game. Like, I remember the first party I went to in Perth, like even just an after party, and there was about 3 people making beats, two other guys writing raps, you know, and they got like 2 tracks done that whole night.
Where was that at?
Cortex's flat. You know, the tiny flat in Osborne Park? Did you ever go to that one? It was a tiny little flat, and it was like you know, it was a little 2-bedroom flat with a balcony, and still it'd be packed, and party be going, tracks would be getting done, and it was just such a healthy attitude towards music, and that really, from my perspective of hanging out with everyone around the whole place, it came from SBX, whether it be Draft with, you know, his mainstream success, or whether it be like Hunter and just the legend he was, that, you know, and like he really inspired anyone that I ever met that came across him, or even hadn't come across him. Just his story inspired so many people just to do good shit. And so but you know, with the whole THC thing, THC was a term about 15 years ago that was like a label for the small community that was Tassie hip hop. And Hunter and Daz came over here 2004 and did a gig, and they did a track called The Map of Tassie with Topsky. And
he rolled through the last gig. Daz told him to come down, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, right? Topsky was down at the last gig, and he came through at the last Draft gig as well, out of the Granada, when those fellas came down last year. But yeah, so I mean, thank you very much, bro. I'm very proud of myself, and I'm very proud of everyone around me. Dundee's been absolutely killing it. He just battled over in Canada on the weekend just gone and absolutely smashed it. He battled this big gangster motherfucker from New York. And, oh, no, he's not from New York. He's from Chicago.
I love how thick Dunners' accent is. It's like just Aussie as fuck. And like, I'm glad that someone like him is representing the country, bro. You know? It's fucking sick.
He's battling this guy. This guy's like a really legit, like, Gumbar style, like, battle rapper. And Dunners did this whole thing about, like, rest in peace, Steve Irwin. And like, fucking, because the guy who's battling had really big man boobs. And he said something about how when Stephen got killed by that dog cunt Stingray, you're just lucky it couldn't happen to you, especially when you got them fat in your boobs or something like that. But it was fucking hilarious, you know, just to see an Aussie cunt on a fucking stage in Canada surrounded by, like, you know, some of the most established battle rappers in the world going, rest in peace, Steve Irwin, that dog cunt Stingray.
Yeah, it's funny fucker for sure.
And then on top of that, for the whole weekend, him and this other rapper from Manchester called Bobby Rex, who's like this big Manchester lad who doesn't give a fuck, they just got absolutely off their trolley and just fucked with all the, like, gangster rappers over there that take themselves like hell seriously, and Dundee is just going
full image sort of guys and shit.
All these Americans that are really obsessed with their image. Dunners is whispering in their ear, like the guy that was battling Bobby. Dunners kept going. He had a man bun, and, you know, full like gym junkie man bun sort of cunt. And Dundee's like whispering in his ear, like, Bobby's just gonna bite your face off, cunt. He doesn't even know it's a battle. He's just flown over from England to bash you. And like these cunts just don't know how to take him. Like this Aussie and this English lad, like, just running an absolute muck.
Like, Americans get mad offended at the word cunt as well. Like, it's like the worst thing you can say to them too. For us, it's like standard as fuck, man.
Oh, so the tides are turning slowly. Like,
they're getting around
Jeffries over there. Have you watched much of the Jim Jeffries show?
I have seen a fair whack of it.
It's real good, eh?
Definitely seen the first season. I don't think I've seen the second.
Yeah.
But where's it up to now? Like 3 or something? Or?
I know I think he's just started the second one. He just had a break.
Oh, you mean the actual show, not that like sitcom style one that he had with the dude in the wheelchair and that? No, you mean his actual... I've seen the clips on it that you've been sharing, like when he talks about Trump and... The fuck else? He did a Pauline Hanson one that was fucking hilarious too.
Interview with her. Yeah, and he's just trolling.
Yeah, he's a funny fucker, isn't he?
He's a legend, man. He did like an episode where he did a joke about North Korea should just bomb Reno, Nevada, and just get it over and done with, because Reno's like the most hated city in America.
That's like a little mini Vegas or something, isn't it?
Yeah. It's kind of like that. And yeah, Reno fucking picked up a big stink. It was all in the American news. Jim Jeffries threatens, you know, like, and the mayor of Reno announced an anti-Jim Jeffries day that they now have in Reno.
That's like, crazy.
He's running amok. It's just great to see an Aussie over in America just fucking with, but
being an Aussie.
I had to live in Texas in 2004 when George Bush got elected, and my dad was very pro-Bush and American, and you know he's ex-military and into everything, and he was sitting there going, "This is a great man," you know, like it was fucked to deal with as a kid that grew up with Australian humor, and you know even on TV in Australia we just see videos of George Bush fucking up. In Texas they didn't show that on TV.
Yeah,
you know, so to see Jim Jeffries now on TV in America, you know, bagging out the president, telling it how it is, very inspiring to me.
You know, the world's gone crazy, but when when a comedian can't even be politically incorrect anymore, it's like, fuck me, they're a comedian. Yeah. You know, like this political correctness has just gone too far in some cases. Some ways I agree with bits and pieces of it, but I mean, fuck me, like he's a comedian. People like relax. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like take it as a joke. You know?
Such a hard one. Like I feel, you know, we've kind of gone full circle since the 50s. Like in the 50s and the 60s, like you know, like, did you ever hear of Lenny Bruce? He was an American comedian that got arrested heaps for like just, you know, speaking out about how shit was, and just like, yeah, like he got arrested for, I can't even remember the exact sort of pieces that he got arrested for, but he was just speaking the truth, you know, and it was in the earlier days of being allowed to say certain things in the public forum. And if you would have heard George Carlin.
No.
He's another like big American comedian. He only died not long ago, but he was around in this era that comedians were still getting arrested for what they was. And Lenny Bruce was kind of like he was the martyr for it. Like he ended up overdosing at one point, but it was pretty much due to, you know, his depression from how much trouble he got in from just trying to do his comedy and speak his mind. And you know, across America, a lot changed since then. And then it got to the 80s, and the 80s was like anti-PC as fuck. You had like homophobic comedians coming out like, I don't know what's up with these butt slammers, man. What's up with these butt slammers? I just don't get it. Like, you know, and they, like this one guy, Andrew Dice Clay, he'd sell out stadiums, and he was this kind of like real alpha, homophobic, very misogynistic comedian. But he was the biggest selling comedian in American history. Goes to show something, you know. There's something in there, but now we've come fully back.
Sometimes people like to hear like shit that everyone's too scared to say, and 100%. I think that's not you know, they don't have to agree with it and shit like that. But I mean, just hearing someone say some shit like that, sometimes you're just like, whoa, fuck me, they said that, you know. Yeah. And I think comedians should be like given that leeway to do that shit, because it makes it just that much more fucking funnier, you know. Yeah, like hearing your mum swear for the first time or something, you're like, God, mum just said fuck, you know. Exactly. It's like, wow.
There's this one comedian, she's absolutely amazing, and she's called Lisa Lampanelli, and she comes out and she does as much racist and offensive as possible. She just goes on about how she fucks black guys, and then she'll find a Mexican guy in the crowd, she'll find a couple black chicks, every stereotype possible she will find and bag them out. Old people, no holds barred. She'll make orphan jokes, you know what I mean? And but through all the, like, she makes a point at the end, she goes, oh, you're a good bunch of people because I don't leave anyone out. You know, through all of it, there's equality. And I saw the same in battle rap. Like, there's in battle rap, I see no difference between a racist joke or a sexist joke or a mother joke or a fucking personal joke. You know, whatever. It's a joke. You know what I mean? And it all kind of adds up. And
there's no real rules in battle rap, is there?
No, not technically. I mean, there's a lot of people that have like broken them over the years. I guess there's been parts that have. I know some people have considered crossing the line, but at the end of the day, battle rappers will say that they're meant to be the most offensive people on earth. So, where do you draw the line? It's a hard one with PC shit. Like, I've offended a lot of people recently just because I like to use terms like, like there's a comedian called Doug Stanhope, and he says He says, you know, and like at the end of the day, if you give the word power, is where it's at, you know. But if you take away the power, and you know, if people go the N word, you're gonna think the word that they're referring to anyway. So what's the point of even saying N word? You're just getting the person listening. I don't know. It's a slippery hole. The old political correctness, and as language changes so quickly, I feel that the internet has sped up generations, has sped up our influences in culture and everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things are becoming trendy, and then things are becoming not all right like that. Like, look what happened to Chris Lilly. You know, 5 years ago, he made that Angry Boys thing, and then now, like, and he got away with it when it came out. Nobody crucified him.
Yeah.
You know, and then he posted that song on the same day that the copper got off for the kid that got killed in Kalgoorlie.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
And, you know...
It blew up hard.
Yeah, and rightfully so. It was fucking... To look back on it, you know, even in 5 years of just maybe the way society's changing.
It's what you're raised around and what you're used to, and then it doesn't take... It takes someone to say to you, you know... I think, especially if you've got a friendship with someone, you know, that's been offended by it personally and hurt by it, when they say it to you and explain it to you, I think a lot of it's just educational shit, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and Australians, we are like slightly accidentally racist, I think. Like some shit that went on in my household as a kid, like at the time I might have considered it normal, you know, how my old man spoke and things like that. But looking back at it now, you're like, "Fuck me, man. That's 100%. That's not right," you know. But yeah,
100%. Well, like here in Tasmania, which is white bread as fucked, because all the Aboriginals were pretty much killed. Like there was not many left. Not like it was genocide. What happened, you know, in Tasmania. And I grew up like. There was people with Aboriginal descent at school, but there wasn't really any. I wasn't around any Aboriginal culture, you know.
Yeah.
No one had any culture. Like, and I grew up in a suburb called Blackman's Bay. Yeah. And there's no black people. you know, it's and for me, like, it wasn't until I travelled around the country and I lived in Melbourne and I met a lot of people there, and then over in Perth and then Darwin especially was, you know, a big eye opener. And luckily enough, going out with Raisin, he taught me heaps just. And through education, I've learned, and now I'm very offended when I hear an ignorant Tasmanian say something. Whereas, you know, when I was a teenager, before all these experiences, I would have let that. It wouldn't have made my ears prick. It would have just flown over my head, as you're saying.
Same here, bro. And like we're saying, it's just education. You know what I mean? When you just need to explain to them from like a different perspective. You know, like I did this. Actually, for a job, man, I did this FMG induction, and I've done quite a few like cultural awareness courses where just in and out. Don't go near the white flag. That's sacred site area. You know, up because do a lot of work up north in the bush, sort of thing. And and they're all pretty shit, to be honest. The courses were pretty shit. And then I did this one for FMG, and this lady, this indigenous lady, she was actually part of the stolen generation. Yeah, she was part of this. She went to Sister Kate's or something in Perth. Yeah. So it was like legal for them to take your like Indigenous kids away from their parents to literally, like, it sounds horrible to say, but literally to breed out the black. Like it was like in legislation, like it was legal, dude. Yeah. And they were considered in like flora and fauna up until I think it was 1967 or something. Yeah. So. When you hear shit like that from an Indigenous person, and I could see the pain in her heart, like, and she was telling me these stories, and I was like, "Fuck, man!" It almost reduced me to tears, dude. And like, just listening to that, I thought, "Fuck me, why don't they teach this shit at school, you know, and break down any possibility of a divide between people? Teach it at school, you know, even like the languages you're forced to learn at school, like French and shit like that. It should be what's native to your area, you know. 100%. But it all just starts with education, you know what I mean? Like I've probably even said I've got 2 Indigenous cousins that, you know, I probably would have said some cheeky shit as a 10, 12-year-old kid, like, you know, that's 20 years ago now, because that's the sort of environment I grew up in, and I didn't know it was wrong until you're educated on it, you know what I mean? Yeah. And we need to stamp out that sort of shit. But I think some of the other stuff, you you know, veering away from racism. Some of the stuff now, like people are just fucking like so quick to take offense on certain shit, you know, like the lady or the transgender person trying to play football. I don't agree with that, to be honest with you. Like she was a big girl, you know, like, and she only got her, you know, doodle removed like a year or two ago, and she was like an Olympic, like I can't remember what sport, but like represented Australia in something, and it's like it's 110 kilogram person. Like
there should be some weight class in sports.
Well, I just think like she probably couldn't do that in the Olympics, like, you know, have too much testosterone and be considered a male, or I'm not sure how it works, but it's
such an interesting weird line. Hey,
so I didn't agree with that. I don't think she should be playing against a bunch of girls and stuff. Like, not so fuck. You got to be so careful with how I word it as well, you know. And I've openly said that I'm a yes voter for that marriage shit. You know, like to me, like I don't believe in Jesus and that sort of bullshit, so I don't give a fuck what it says in the Bible. Like to me, it's just one simple thing: it's someone's happiness. So why the fuck would I get in the way of that? But when it comes to like the footy style stuff, like, man, she's bigger than me, dude. Like, imagine me, like, just running at, like, a 55 kilo size 8 girl, just absolutely shit mixing her. I'd break ribs and stuff, you know. And I just think it's
you gotta be somewhat fair in those regards, especially when it comes to sports. I mean, it's a hard one, and you know, I don't like at the end of the day, do what you want. I kind of like keep to myself, and I write raps and make music and you know, do it with my friends. Anyone can do whatever the fuck they want, really. But you know, I know I've said some things that have offended some people, and at the end of the day, I've got no problem with anyone, and I know you're the same. And
sometimes I just like stirring people up, to be honest with you.
At the end of the day, like, if you're
bored,
gonna get that easily offended,
bit of banter with people,
100%. Like, I feel like everyone should get some rap battle treatment and just go through having to stand on a stage and get someone abuse you in front of a large crowd, and until your insecurities go away. It happens. I don't know. I was very insecure in many ways, and I still have my insecurities. We all do, but you just learn how to deal with it, you know. And the more that we create, like, you can feel whatever you feel like. Don't get me wrong, but the more that we create different labels that give us different things to be offended about, or like, at the end of the day, offense is taken, not given. You know, if you want to take offense, that is entirely up to you. You know, you're in charge of your emotions. You're in charge of how you process something and take it in, and whether you're going to let it hurt your feelings. It's up to you at the end of the day. And something like anything can be offensive, especially if you misunderstand it. And so many people will say things offensive and that they probably don't understand. You know what I mean? It's such a fuck.
It's a fine line, eh? Like,
I know there's
I just stay the fuck away from it a lot of the time, because it's just, there's always going to be differences in opinion. You know what I mean?
100%.
Unless I'm in a mood to annoy someone, like arguing back and forth online, like get you fucking nowhere. So you know,
and like and it's always at a distance. You know that these arguments happen. If people are just hanging out and actually just chilling and can have eye-to-eye contact and read body language and
and tones of voices and shit like that. Like text can be like perceived so many different ways, you know, like
100%.
Like that. If you think this cunt's yelling at me or something, you know,
it always, like, the tone always been I know it can be misinterpreted, and I just feel that, like, what happened to Sticks and Stones? You know, like, Sticks and Stones, fucking.
I used to, like, when I first started dropping music, I used to get fucking so worked up, like, over shitty comments and that. And then I just thought, fuck, man, they're probably just upset they're not in my position. So it took me a good couple of years to, like, just go, fuck that shit. I used to pepper back, like, with just the most insulting shit I could think of, like, just gruesome shit, you know. And now I read them and I'm just like, who gives a fuck, or whatever. Who even is that? I don't even know who that person is, you know.
And if anyone's saying, like, okay, if you don't like something and you
don't listen to it,
no, you're not going to invest energy into it. If something, if you don't like something enough to post a comment, or you know, especially in an actual negative tone, or like, say if someone's going on about how great it is, you go, oh, I just don't like it. I don't see what the big deal is. That's even all right, but anyone's just reflecting their own insecurities. They might say this and go, I don't like this because I'm not doing it, which is 99% of the time.
Yeah.
Not to take the old shout outs to my haters fucking, you know, path, but I don't know. It's an interesting one, eh? I'm going to suss out here quickly if we've got any questions for you. Other than that, so you got Melbourne tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Yeah? What time does that kick off?
Same sort of deal. I'm very unorganised on this whole tour, man. Honestly, dude, like, I just want to go around and have fun, party in each city, and then go home and hibernate on my couch for a day or two afterwards, man. It's more of a celebration tour than anything. So I'm not very organised. I think probably it starts around the same time as tonight, 9 or 8:30 or something like that, and
Sweet.
Wraps up around midnight as well.
And then you're doing Adelaide Friday night?
Adelaide Saturday night. I told everyone it was Friday night. I completely fucked that up. I got stung like fucking $2.5 grand for a booking agent last time. Like on the whole tour, they take like 10% or whatever, and yeah, and I just thought, fuck, all they do is just say, hey, can this guy play here on this night? And send a few posters out. So I just did it all myself, but being a bit of a dumbass, I fucking thought I was playing on the Friday night in Adelaide, but I'm playing on the Saturday. So yeah.
Sweet. Where's that at?
Edinburgh Castle.
Edinburgh Castle.
Yeah.
Sweet, man.
I'm going to some chicken and whiskey joint with trials on Friday night. So
chicken and whiskey.
Well, I can't remember what it was called, but what the called, man? I don't know, but he was like, "Do you like chicken?" I was like, "Fuck, dude." Do you know?
It seems like it's the theme.
So, yeah, it's definitely the theme of my tour.
Yeah.
It's the theme of my life at the moment, man. I'm almost as heavy as I've ever been, man. I sort my life out after this tour. But and then he sent me the link for the place, and then it said fucking whiskey bar on it. So he already told me it had fried chicken, then whiskey, and fucking I've got a whiskey room at my house. I love whiskey that much, man. And yeah, so I was like, fuck yeah, whiskey too. So yeah,
sweet, man. Well, we'll definitely have some whiskeys tonight.
100%, bro.
And North Hobart that does fried chicken. Go get that.
Someone commented actually on my thing, and you told me before it was an Asian place that does it, and then someone wrote, hold on a sec, where are we? Is it called? Where the fuck are you? Saigon Express?
That's the one.
Ah, yeah.
Saigon Express.
Shout out to Finn
Doppel.
Finn Doppel.
Yeah.
Didn't know if it was Doppel or Doppel.
Finny Florence is his rap name.
Cool. Hey, Finny Florence. Cheers for the chicken advice. I'll be sure to check it out.
But
is it close to the venue too?
Yeah, it's a couple blocks. Everything's a couple blocks in Hobart. Shout outs to Bird Brain for listening. We're gonna wrap this up.
What up, Bird?
Thanks again to listen. Thanks again for coming on, Mr. Grevis.
Thanks for having me, brother, and thanks for organising everything down here as well. I really appreciate it, and big ups to everything you're doing down here, and all the young Tassie hip hop crew as well. Keep doing your thing, boys. Greels, keep holding it down.
Fucking legend.
Thanks very much.
Thanks for coming down and being a part of it, bro. We'll make this one a night to remember.
For sure.
Thanks again for listening, fam. Have a good night. Come down to the Brisbane. We'll see you there.
Peace.